right? Still about your resume. Still about your resume. Ainda sobre seu currículo. I gained a lot of experience with. I gained a lot of experience with. Adquiri muita experiência com. I gained a lot of experience with. I became quite proficient. Proficient. Proficiente, muito bom em. I became quite proficient. I became, do you remember? Dá uma paradinha e visita de novo aquela lista que eu te passei dos verbos, são muito importantes. I became quite proficient. So you have I become, I became, I have become, I will become, I'm going to become, etc. So do I become? Did I become? Did you become? Etc. So I became quite proficient in communicating in English. Eu me tornei muito bom, muito proficiente, proficient em comunicação em inglês, falar inglês, of course. I became quite proficient in communicating in English. Almost on a daily basis, I had to quase on a daily basis, quase que diariamente, tá? On a daily basis, numa base diária, I had to, almost on a daily basis, I had to, I was quickly promoted to, fui logo promovida a, I was quickly promoted to, I was eventually promoted to. Eventualmente eu fui promovido a, eventually. So I was quickly or eventually promoted to. I left, you name the company's names, diz o nome da companhia. I left, por exemplo, Coca-Cola, because if not for the move, I would have stayed on, I would stayed on at. So if not for the move, I would have stayed on na. If not for the move, I would have stayed on at. Move, mudança, verbo também, to move. Move yourself, mova-se. I felt, de novo, nossa listinha de verbos. I feel, I felt, I have felt. Entrevista, em conversação em geral, são usados todos os tempos. Então, so dear. Practice. I felt I had reached a point where eu senti que tinha atingido nível ou chegado até ponto onde I felt I had sorry, Richard is me. I felt I had reached a point where force of habit, força do hábito. I was here. It was time to move on. It was time to move on. Já tinha chegado a hora de eu crescer, de eu ir para frente, de eu me mudar. Tá? It was time to move on. Seguir em frente, move on. Move on, my friend, move on. So then I went on to work for. So then I went on to work for. Então eu saí, eu continuei a trabalhar para, fui trabalhar para, tá? Sempre pegando o sentido do pensamento. So then I went on to work for. My most recent experience has been recent, right? Recent experience has been. My most recent experience has been, minha experiência mais recente foi, ou tem sido, has been, verbo to be de novo nesse tempinho. I am, I was, I have been. Practice. I have extensive experience in nearly all areas of I have extensive experience in nearly all areas of nearly or nearly, okay? Nearly, let's say nearly. I have extensive experience in nearly all areas. Eu tenho larga experiência em quase todas as áreas de all areas of. I have extensive experience in nearly all areas of. Okay, now, same. I was responsible for the development of, which involved, I helped to implement a new, I had worked with, I gained a lot of experience with, I became quite proficient in communicating in English. Almost on a daily basis, I was quickly, eventually promoted to, I left because if not for the move, I would have stayed on at, I felt I reached a point where I felt I had reached a point where it was time to move on. So then I went on to work for, my most recent experience has been as the secretary, example. I have extensive experience in nearly all areas of, okay, let's review everything now. Your resume. I studied at USB. I majored in economics. I specialized in and graduated in. I also took courses in. I ended up taking several courses in during my time at USB. I had the opportunity to work for or with. I did an internship at Coca-Cola as a marketing assistant. I also did some volunteer work as I did my MA in or at the University of California. Most of my graduate work consisted of, I did a thesis on, my thesis work consisted of, I published material on, my work has been published in, I lived abroad for 10 years. I worked in New York, but I studied in Boston. In 2017, I started working for, I was hired as I was the financial director. My job description included, I was in charge of, I was responsible for the development of, which involved, I helped to implement a new, I had worked with, I gained a lot of experience with, I became quite proficient in communicating in English. Almost on a daily basis, I was quickly eventually promoted to, I left because if not for the move, I would have stayed on and I felt I had reached the point where it was time to move on. So then I went on to work for, my most recent experience has been, I have extensive experience in nearly all areas of. Ok, então isso foi sobre o seu resume, seu curriculum vitae, seu currículo vitae. O seu exercício, copie à mão os 3 textos, que são um só, né? Os 3 áudios, e mande um áudio de no máximo 3 minutos com a aula de hoje. Okay? Have fun and learn and enjoy. See you next class.